Hello, everybody. Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab a blanket, a pillow, 2 blocks, and a strap, and let's begin in Hero's Pose, Virasana. And that's where you place your knees in front, if your knees are okay with it. And if they need some support, you could place a block in between your ankles or even 2 blocks to sit on. Make sure that your toes are pointed back, feet are not turned out. And if any variation of Hero's Pose is not feeling comfortable for you, then do sit in a way that you can feel grounded and upright. Using your discernment with all the physical practice, right? Tuning into the experience you're personally having in your body and adjusting as you need to. So I felt triggered the other day while in conversation with what I perceived as battling egos, including my own. And although the conversation was not heated, I left it feeling old wounds being picked at. So with curiosity, I sat in meditation. And soon after, I realized that there was a theme of feeling inadequate and unworthy that had been reinforced in the previous conversation. And I realized in meditation that this is a recurring shadow of mine that has been since childhood. And so I was moved to practice mothering myself through self-compassion. And one vision after another during my meditation came scenes of early years of feeling inadequate or unworthy, to teenage years, to adult years. And in each moment, I was moved to offer myself loving kindness, some reassurance. And at the end of it all, this loving thought hit me. And I want to share it with you because I feel like it applies to all of us spiritual beings who are walking this path of being human, you and I. And that thought was, your worth is not dependent on your accomplishments. You'd never fluctuate in value, regardless of what we hear around us, of how people are introduced. Meet the creator of, the person who accomplished, the title, the status. Regardless of all that, we are all equally valuable parts of the greater consciousness. And I hope that this practice can be an affirmation of that. As we move into guided meditation later, I'll share some of that self-compassion practice with you if you feel open to it. But for now, we're going to have a heart opening to get ready for that. Physical back bending in our flow practice, and then into yin, some counterbalancing twists to neutralize the spine, forward folds and hip openers, as some of you requested watching live, to help release the lower back. So let's begin. Checking in. Sit still, maybe close your eyes. Begin to scan your own physical body for how it's feeling right now. Sense the breath as it naturally comes and goes. And through it, observe your energetic state. Sense your own mind, kinds of thoughts, the emotions they evoke. And notice your mental and emotional state. You might join your hands in prayer at the heart as you allow a moment of gratitude, something that you sincerely can appreciate right now. Call that to heart. And with gratitude, invite you to set your intention for your practice. What's one thing you'd like to celebrate about yourself? Or what's one thing that you would like to shift? Or maybe even bring intention to release. Tap into the feeling tone of that intention as you inhale deeply and exhale through the mouth. Remembering our part in the greater collective, the greater whole. I invite you to choose someone or something to dedicate this practice to today. Someone you care about, a community or a cause. And together, in support of each other, let's join our voices, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Begin to practice the breathing technique that helps to relax body and mind while steadying your mental focus. And that's called Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. It's done by closing the lips, softly narrowing the back of your throat, and sustaining your breath evenly in and out through your nose while creating a gentle whispering sound. Listen to a few rounds of that. And see if you can keep it softly, audibly going through this whole vinyasa flow part of the practice, and then into the beginning of the yin portion too. And with that, let's come on up to stand at the top of your mat. Grab your strap and place your 2 blocks in front of your mat. And let's start standing with feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other in mountain pose. We're going to warm up the shoulders first, taking the strap between your hands so that your hands are a little wider apart than your shoulders distance. Have a taut grip of the strap and keep your arms straight, elbows not bent. Standing tall, relax your shoulders down and away from your ears, the whole movement as you inhale to raise your arms overhead. And as you exhale to drop the arms behind you and down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale forward and down. Keep going. You might have to adjust the space between your hands so that you can keep the shoulders relaxed and the arms straight. Or you might walk the hands a little closer together if you feel ready to go deeper. About 5 more cycles of breath. Treat it like a vinyasa flow, a breath-led movement. The inhale to slowly lift. The exhale to slowly lower. Now bring your attention to your torso. As you move your arms up, let your front ribs continue to seal in towards your back body. Lengthen your tailbone downward towards the ground between your heels, rather than overarching the lower back. Couple more cycles of breath. So in our back bending practice today, we're going to warm up the shoulders as we are doing the hip flexors, and we're going to be moving the arms so that the shoulders will be in extension. Let's drop the strap and practice that now. Shoulders in extension. So extend your arms forward, palms face down. Rotate your triceps towards the ground, your outer upper arms downward, to spread the shoulder blades wider across your back ribs, and depress the shoulder blades down away from the neck. Keep those 2 actions happening, and then begin to raise your arms towards overhead, only the degree that you can keep the shoulders relaxed without shrugging them, and continue to seal in the bottom of your front ribs while anchoring your tailbone downward towards the ground between the heels. And then right where you are, inhale, roll your shoulders further back and down, tilting your heart and eyes upwards. Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Exhale, bend your knees any amount you need so that as you bow, you can create a flat back. Let's begin sun salutations. Lower the fingertips. Inhale, step your left knee behind you and look up, kneeling lunge. Holding your breath, step into your version of plank pose. As you exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin. This is a back bend, sticking the tailbone up. Inhale, slide your belly to the ground and coil your chest lightly into cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and fold. Inhale, press to your feet and sweep the arms forward. Find the rotation of the triceps forward as you back bend. Exhale, join your hands at your heart. One more of the sequence on the second side. Inhale, arms overhead. Roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale, bow towards your legs. Lower your fingertips. Inhale, step your right knee back and look up. Holding your breath, step into plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, and chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, lower to the floor and firm down to the tops of your feet in Cobra. Exhale, lift through the belly into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee and look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Rooting down to rise up, breathe in, coil your chest up. Exhale, marry your palms at your heart. Second sun salutation sequence. Breathe in, sweep your arms overhead again in Urdhva Hastasana, back bending. Exhale, fold from your hips in Uttanasana. This time, press your hands on blocks in front of you or the ground and lengthen your spine forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Then plant your hands flat on the ground and step into plank, exhaling as you glide forward with belly lifted. Lower through Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows bent 90 degrees. Come down for Cobra or flip the toes there, inhaling to upward facing dog. Exhale, lift your hips high and back to downward facing dog. Give yourself maybe 5 deep breaths. If you're needing to move your body, like pedaling the feet for a moment, feel free. Listen to the quality of your breathing. Keep that steady, slow rhythm going. Finish this next breath. Then either walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Uttanasana. Press down with your hands. Inhale, lengthen to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising to Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Exhale to your hands, to your heart center. One more time, same sequence. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, look up. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen forward. Step back to plank and glide forward, or lightly float into Chaturanga Dandasana if you practice that. Continue into Cobra or upward facing. Let's meet in downward facing dog, holding still, taking 3 deep breaths. Notice how downward dog has your shoulders in extension. The arms are overhead. So let's apply those 2 actions, rotating the triceps to face the ground and lifting the shoulders away from the neck. Hug your front ribs in towards your back. After your 3rd exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, lifting your chest. Exhale, Padasana, hands in prayer and mountain pose. Let's move on to our last sun salutation series, sun salutation B. Have your feet touching. We're gonna take this 1 round. Inhale, bend your knees together to touch and sit low towards your heels, arms up in chair. Utkatasana. Exhale, hinge forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step or float into your vinyasa. Keep going to downward dog. At downward facing dog, keep your two hips leveled in height or squared. As you inhale to raise the right leg behind you. Exhaling, imagine kissing your right knee, maybe even try, and step the right foot lightly beside your right thumb, spin the back heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise up to Warrior One or Virabhadrasana One. Ride your exhale down into your vinyasa. Downward dog, inhale, keep your hips leveled and raise the left leg back. Exhale, play with kissing your left knee to gently step the foot beside your left thumb. Spin your right heel down and inhale, rise. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Pause here for 3 deep breaths, steadying your gaze, your drishti. When you hear the end of your 3rd out breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Then inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Knees together, inhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up to Padasana. Let's come to stand on hands and knees. Place your 2 blocks on their 2nd level or medium height like this across your mat in front of you. Extend your arms forward like we did in mountain pose and rotate your triceps down. Press the shoulder blades down the back. Keep doing that as you place your bent elbows exactly shoulders distance apart of the blocks. Then step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. Press your fingertips into each other and trace your thumbs down the back of your skull as far back as they'll go, lowering your head towards the floor, sinking your chest, but lifting your front ribs to seal inward towards your back body as you draw your hips back. Let's stay about 4 more breaths. Make sure the elbows do not start to splay apart wider than shoulders distance. Keep rolling your triceps downward and sending your shoulder blades back. So again, here is the practice of your shoulders in extension. One more deep breath. As you exhale, contract your belly, lift up and put the blocks aside. Grab your strap and step your right foot beside your right thumb into a kneeling lunge. Come on up to Anjaneyasana. Hold the strap in your left hand and raise your left arm. Now feel the stability in your legs by having them hips width apart, front knee stacked right on top of the heel, and isometrically scissoring your legs. Now with your right hand, rotate the left tricep forward. Press both shoulders down as you guide the elbow behind your skull. Reach your right hand underneath behind you and catch the other end of the strap. Then walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe clasping the hands and releasing the strap if that's available. Then reactivate your legs. Draw your tailbone down and slightly forward towards your inner right heel, lifting your back ribs to help lengthen the lower spine. Heel the fronts of your shoulder bones back, and right under the shoulder blades, begin to tilt your chest up, keeping your neck long in front and back as you start to gaze up in a back bend. Arms in Gomukhasana or cow face pose as you are in Anjaneyasana. 2 more deep breaths. Now raising the left arm up again, drop the strap if you're using it, Use your right hand to cup the top of your right thigh. Rooting the right leg still, inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Place the left hand on a block or the floor right under your left shoulder and start to turn your chest to the right, entering a spinal twist. Raising your right arm up, rotate the tricep to face the right wall, then sweep the right arm overhead for a variation of extended, twisting side angle pose. You might also opt to tuck the left toes and straighten the back leg. Make sure that you're not twisting at the pelvis though. So try to re-level the hips and hug them towards your midline, centering the twist across your waistline. Drawing both shoulders down the back. About 3 more breaths here. In Parita, Parsvakonasana. Now lower your hands and let's step back to downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths. Step your left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee. Take your strap with you as you rise up to a kneeling lunge. With legs as wide apart as your hips and left knee stacked above the heel, hold the strap in your right hand and raise the right hand, dangling the tail of the strap behind you. With the help of your left hand, rotate your right tricep forward and press both shoulders down as you bring the elbow behind your head. Reach your left hand underneath to catch the other end of the strap and walk your hands as close together as you can, maybe clasping the hands. Isometrically scissor your legs as if you're dragging them towards each other. Let's lengthen the lower spine to create a safe back bend by lengthening the tailbone down and towards the inner left heel while lifting the back ribs away from the tailbone. Then seal in the bottom of your front ribs and visualize the area right under your shoulder blades where you begin to create the lift of your chest, rolling the shoulders behind you. As you start to look up, lengthen the back of your neck. Let's give it another 3 breaths here in Anjaneyasana. Raising your right arm, cup the top of your left thigh with your left hand, and inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Place the right hand on a block or the floor right under your right shoulder. Exhale as you twist to the left. Raise your left arm up and rotate the tricep to face the left wall, then extend that arm overhead while drawing the shoulders down your back. If you did so on the first side, straighten your back leg, tucking the toes. Make sure to square your hips and turn the rib cage. Inhale, lengthen through both ends of the center line of your body, your crown and your inner right heel. Exhale, hug your outer hips towards your midline and continue to spin your rib cage. 2 more breaths. In Parita, Parsvakonasana. And then lower your hands, come down to hands and knees. All right, we've been practicing the shoulders and extension. Let's drill it some more. Rotate the triceps face down. This time, interlace your fingers and place your elbows exactly shoulders width apart on the ground. Let's prepare for about 10 breaths or so in dolphin pose. So, sink your chest, draw the shoulders back away from the neck. Make sure the elbows stay shoulders width apart. Root down firmly to your outer forearms, outer wrists, and elbows. Then either drop your head without bearing any weight on it, so the neck is hanging loose, or actively look forward of your knuckles with the hands. Tuck your toes, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, pull in the belly to lift your hips up and back like downward dog. You might see if you're able to walk the feet forward closer to your elbows. Maybe so, maybe not. Try to keep your shoulders slightly behind the elbows, not at all rolling forward of them. Now from here, optional, feet together, Keep your hips leveled and raise the right leg straight up for 3 to 4 breaths, flexing the foot. Making sure not to rotate the right leg externally or turn it out. Tacking the left hip back. Then after 3 to 4 breaths of your count, lower the right foot and switch legs, lifting from the inseam of the leg so your left hip continues to face down and forward. By drawing the right hip back, find equal length along your left and right sides of your torso. Long, even breaths to help soothe the mind. When you're ready, stepping both feet down, maybe give it another full breath in dolphin, and let's meet in child's pose. Resting your knees on the ground together or apart with your inner feet touching. Place your forehead on the floor or on your arms. Rest your arms wherever you see fit. 3 breaths. Plant your hands on the ground, and with an inhale, slowly roll your spine upright. And we now enter our yin portion of the practice. So grab a long pillow, or just switch our playlist here for that. Our yin playlist. Or a folded blanket, and place it down the midline of your mat towards the front half. We're going to start in a restorative spinal twist. Then have a seat with your right hip, outer hip flush against the back edge of the pillow, extending both of your legs straight towards your left wall. Now, you may want to have some extra blankets, pillows, and blocks within reachable distance here. So lay them towards the front of the mat just in case. Keep your right leg where it is. Slide your left leg to trace the midline of your mat towards the rear, creating an L shape out of your legs. Then frame the left and right sides of the pillow with your 2 hands and turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat, adjusting your pelvis and legs so that you can do so comfortably. Like maybe swiveling the right hip slightly back or bending the knees. And then inhale, lift your chest. Relax the shoulders down. Take your time, several breaths to begin bowing forward. If you find that the pillow is way too low to bow into, that's where you can stack a bunch of your props. Get creative. You could also make an incline, placing a block or 2 underneath the edge of the pillow that's furthest away from you, so the incline comes down towards your hip. And then you can bear hug the pillow. You might even like to make a little forehead pillow out of a folded blanket so that if you choose, you can lie face down and still breathe. Otherwise, if you're turning your head to one side, make note of the side you're facing so that when we switch sides in this pose, you can face the other direction. All right, settling in, make any last little adjustments so that you can be here in stillness and really observe what comes in and out of that stillness. We'll be here for another 3 minutes. I invite you to scan different parts of your body. Notice if there's any gripping or contraction. You might find it around neck and shoulders, or between the eyebrows, or the jaw, or the hands. So, give those areas permission to relax. Give your body permission to feel held and supported. continue to use your breathing so that your mind can feel a sense of being held and supported too. Keep observing last few breaths here. Not rushing to leave the posture. Take your time. Keep the props right where they are as you press your hands into the ground and slowly lift your head. Then your torso, gently rising to sit, facing away from the pillow, and extending your legs towards the rear of your mat in front of you. In stick pose or dandasana, pause and allow the breath to flow. Notice any feedback you're receiving from your physical body. Notice if anything feels a little different in any realm, energetically, mentally. Keep tuning in like that as you leave your right leg where it is. Slide your left leg to your left so that it's facing the right wall, creating an L shape out of your legs. Let your left outer hip press against the back edge of the pillow. Framing your hands along the left and right sides of the pillow, turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat. Adjust your pelvis and legs so that you can be comfortable. Inhale, lift your sternum, roll the shoulders back and down. And for a few breaths, start to lower your body, adjusting your props as you might need. Notice if the side of the twist requires a different configuration of your props. If you turned your head in one direction on the first side of the twist, let's invite balance by looking the other way. And then make any last little adjustment here so that you can surrender into the weight of gravity, softening the muscles in your body and inviting the bones to be heavy. We'll be here for 3 minutes more. Can you still hear your own body breathe? The ocean wave sound of your ujjayi breath help to soothe your mind and calm your body. Allow a couple more breaths to empty. And press your hands into the earth and moving very slowly, start to rise up. Once again, sit with your legs extended in front of you in Dandasana and maybe close the eyes. Notice any part of your body that's asking for your attention right now. Bring your mind's eye there and breathe. Simply listening. Listening can be such an important practice of compassion. And now let's prepare to sit in a hip opening, either double pigeon or easy pose, Sukhasana. So as you're sitting to cross your right leg on top or in front of your left leg, see what's available. See if you might be able to stack your ankles and knees so that the shins are parallel, and that's double pigeon. If so, stabilize your knees by pressing the insteps of your feet out towards your sidewalls, flexing your feet in a way that you cannot see the soles of them from where you are. If you're finding that your back wants to round, elevate your pelvis. Sit up on a pillow or a folded blanket and sit towards the front edge of it, slightly tilting your pelvis forward. So whatever way you're sitting, now root down your sitting bones. Imagine a few breaths of breathing up from the base of your spine into the spaces between each vertebra. Lifting tall through the back of your neck, through the back of your skull, and to your crown. Notice the natural space between your chin and chest at your throat. Maintain that as you hug in your front ribs. With your next exhale, begin to tilt your torso forward from the hips, just a little bit, then pause. As you inhale, reground your pelvis. Right here, lengthen up each vertebra and crown. And then exhale, maybe tilt forward a little bit more, walking the hands forward. Now you might opt to place pillows or blocks or a block to catch your forehead or your arms or your hands, whatever you might find helpful, so that you can relax into the pose, which might entail a little rounding in the shoulders, and that's okay, just as long as you don't feel them tensing or closing off the throat. Now let's be here for 2 more minutes. And let's keep listening to what the body has to say, what your body has to say in this position. What would it feel like to listen to your body, even the discomforts it's relaying, if any, with a heart of compassion, with a heart of loving kindness, with care? And if you find it challenging to muster up that self-compassion feeling, maybe think of something or someone, a being that you easily feel care for. Maybe a young child in your life or an animal that you love. And contact that feeling and see if you can transfer it here too. Sense any way that your body's responding. As we take our time pressing the hands down, beginning to lift the head, lift the chest. Rising up. Stretch your legs forward, and if you've been flexing your feet the whole pose, you might roll out your ankles or point your toes. Let's switch the cross of the leg that's forward or on top, whether you're sitting in Sukhasana, easy pose, or double pigeon, ankles and knees stacked with feet flexed, insteps of the feet pressing towards the sidewalls. Ground your sitting bones again, and imagine a couple of breaths lifting up from the base of the spine, expanding the space between each vertebra, lifting tall through your crown, with neck spacious. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward from your hips, hugging in your front ribs, crawling the hands forward breath by breath. You might adjust the height of your props if you're using any to catch you. Being observant of how the side of your hips may need your support. And we'll be here for 2 more minutes. Now, another way we could bring in compassion practice to our bodies here is perhaps by inquiring of your body. How can I support you? How can I nurture you? Maybe if there's some chronic discomfort that's been happening in your body, maybe ask it some questions. What does it want you to know? Remembering that our bodies are wise. And as you're pressing your hands into the ground again, slowly rise up. Stretch your legs forward. Move around your feet or shake out your legs if you like. And before we set up for Shavasana, let's really get our mind, bodies ready for meditation that comes after it through some calming, brain balancing breathing technique, Nodi Shodhana Pranayama, or alternate nostril breathing. So sit up. You might like to sit up on something if you're not already, so that you can feel steady, grounded, open, alert, relaxed. Rest your left hand on your lap in a mudra of your choice, like grounding mudra, thumb and index fingers together, palm face down. Mudra to invite vital energy. Pran mudra looks like the peace sign with the index and middle fingers stuck together, palm face up. The right hand is in Vishnu mudra for this practice. So stick out your right thumb, pinky, and ring finger. Closing your lips, continue to breathe sustained and gently in and out through the nose. Let's begin with 3 rounds together and then continue with 2 rounds on your own. You might close your eyes and steady your gaze towards your brow center, often known as your seat of intuition. Let's begin by emptying this breath. Then hold it out. Using the right thumb, cover your right nostril and inhale through your left nostril slowly. Hold your breath in. Then cover the left nostril with ring and pinky. Exhale through the right slowly. Hold your breath out. Inhale through right nostril. Hold the breath in. Cover right with thumb. Exhale through left. Hold the breath out. Cycle 2. Inhale through left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in for 3, 2, 1. Close left nostril. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Cycle 3 together. Inhale left for 6. Hold for 3. Close left. Exhale right for 6. Hold for 3. Inhale right for 6. Hold for 3. Close right. Exhale left for 6. Hold for 3. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. When you finish at your own pace, rest both hands in your lap in the same mudra and sit with how you're feeling for a moment, breathing naturally. And if you have your eyes closed, you might keep them closed. Begin to lower your body into a comfortable position of rest, lying in Shavasana for the next 5 minutes before we practice our guided meditation. If you're experiencing any stiffness in the lower back, you might like to use a pillow underneath the backs of your knees. Let your feet drop apart. Help to relax the fronts of your shoulders by turning the palms face up by your sides. Continue to rest in Shavasana here a little while longer. And as you keep your eyes closed, observe your body. How does your physical body feel as a whole? Taking your time, gently begin to move your body, easing into a simple stretch, and then another. Being gentle with yourself, gradually turn over onto your right side, resting your head on your arm. As you pause there, allow a few breaths to naturally pass, sensing the quality of the breath. Notice how your energy body feels. As you're ready, press your hands into the ground. Slowly rise up and find a comfortable way to sit for about 10 minutes in guided meditation. So this is a practice of self-compassion like the one I mentioned in the beginning. And it's a practice of REIN, which we've done before, a mindfulness approach to difficult emotions with a younger version of you. So if at any point you don't feel resourced enough to address the things that I'm inviting you to address, you could pause the video, or you could silence my voice and sit silently in open awareness meditation if you prefer. So you have options, as you know. Let's begin. Place your hands in a mudra or gesture that offers you a sense of safety, a feeling of safety and groundedness. It might be placing a hand at your heart center and a hand on the ground, or something that feels like stable support beneath you. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze at one spot, maybe at eye level. And feel your body breathing on its own. Sense the ways that life force energy circulates into your body and how your body naturally breathes out what it no longer needs. Now, what is perhaps a recurring shadow emotion for you? Meaning, are there any difficult emotions that you may tend to carry thematically from the past? Like for me, I mentioned inadequacy or feelings of unworthiness. Maybe it's a feeling that you've had since childhood that gets stirred up in certain situations even now. Again, only continue with this meditation if you feel resourced enough to address it. If you're suffering from any deep trauma, make sure to consult with a professional mental therapist. If you're ready to continue, think of a recent moment in which you felt triggered, when you felt a rise of heightened, difficult emotion that came out of a maybe mundane or not equatable type of circumstance. Maybe somebody said something and inside of you there was a pronounced heightened emotion that challenged you. As you recall a certain kind of situation, pinpoint that emotion. Feel it in your body. See if you can name it succinctly. Anger, sadness, disappointment, whatever it may be. Now, I invite you to go down memory lane of earlier times in your life, maybe even as young as 3 years old or as early as you have memory. And see if you can remember a certain situation in which a similar feeling may have come up for you, where a situation might seem parallel to the one that recently triggered you. Notice if this is something that's not only happened once, but in different kinds of situations. Choose one of those earlier events in your life, and now let's begin the practice of REIN with it, starting with recognizing what that feeling is. Allow a moment to recall the situation, using your senses, visualizing where it was, who was there, hearing what was said or not said, and feeling the emotion and its presence in your physical body. That brings us to the next step in REIN, which is to allow space for that difficult emotion to be as it is. Be in touch with the aliveness of it, the sensations, how it affects your breathing. You might even make the facial expression that it elicits. As I asked you before in our physical practice, let's bring compassion, care, the intention for even practicing this meditation and remembering a hurtful event. The intention is to heal suffering. So let's investigate the next step in REIN. Can you ask that difficult emotion what its message is to you? And you ask that younger version of you experiencing it what it needs. And knowing what you know now as the older version of you, let's step into the last stage of REIN, nurture. In what way can you nurture that younger version of you with loving kindness, with listening support, with caring wisdom? In my own practice of this, I simply but sincerely said, I love you, repeatedly to that younger version of myself. So if it's difficult to find other words and it feels genuine to you, you might tell that younger version of you, I love you. You might even say it out loud several times. Allow your body to make any gesture of loving support. Maybe giving yourself a hug, placing 2 hands at your heart center, whatever feels like tenderness to you. Notice how you're feeling now. Remembering that self-compassion is an ongoing practice. How might you bring that into other areas of your day or life so that we can also be available to practice compassion with the world around us? Now, what's one thing you can offer gratitude for as we're closing this practice? Bring back to heart and mind the intention that you set for it. And then picture the ones that you dedicated this practice to, receiving benefit from it. In closing together, let's chant 3 Oms. Inhale deeply. Bowing in, honoring the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.